From inside Gillette Stadium, I'm Alex Barth. He is Evan Lazar. SONY MICHEL back at practice today, right before the Monday night game against the Buffalo Bills.
Good news.
Not necessarily that he'll play this week, but still a little surprised to see him back so early, given what we saw on Sunday.
Well, what we saw on Sunday, it kind of looked like catastrophic for SONY Michel, right? I mean, I really thought that it might have been a season-ending injury. Kind of reminds me of Gronk in 2015. Against Denver, when it looked like it was going to be a severe injury, and they kind of avoided that. So a little bit surprising to see him back at practice, but sometimes what happens with these guys that they're going to just miss a couple weeks and it's not something serious like a long-term IR type injury. They have him practice what today would be a Friday on a normal week, a lighter practice, go through the motions type thing, and then they just have him out there just with his teammates because he's not so injured that he can't run around a little bit. So a lot of the times that's what happens, and then eventually he comes back in a couple weeks. We see them out at these kind of Friday, Saturday practices.
So the Patriots' next three opponents, none particularly tough against the run, the Bills, the Packers, and the Titans. Then they get the bye week. They come back with the Jets, and then two tough games against Minnesota and in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You figure somewhere in there Michel comes back. Probably not any longer than that. Pittsburgh, I think, is December 14th, I believe.
Yeah.
But what are we looking at for a timetable here for Sunday?
I would be really surprised if Sony's back before the bye. I just don't really see the reason to rush him back, especially considering that this is a guy that you want around for the next 4 or 5 years, let alone the next 4 or 5 weeks. Right? So, I think that you kind of slow play this, take it easy with him, give him the bye week. That's almost a full month of recovery at that point, and then see what happens after the bye and see how that knee responds. I just don't see any reason, like you said, the Bills, that's going to be a win. They're not going to lose that game in Buffalo. You have the Packers, who, even though you want to keep up with Aaron Rodgers, that defense is just as bad as your defense. So I think that they're going to be able to score points with or without SONY MICHEL. And the Titans, I think that that's another team that's kind of hot and cold this year, especially too. So I would say after the bye week.
And we will see SONY MICHEL working his way back